What is good? What is good? What is good, man? How is everybody doing? Give me 1 second here. I want to share this into my Facebook group here before we get started. There we go. Cool. Yeah, man. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. If you can hear me just fine, throw something in the comments so I at least know that y'all can hear me okay. Basically, this is gonna be one of my first lives, so I literally just gonna be more just kind of like chopping it up. I want to give like kind of have an idea of what I want to talk about today, but it's more so just really just Q&A type stuff. So any type of questions you have, you can just shoot it in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer any type of questions. Those of you guys, if you're watching like the replay at this point, make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of the future live streams that I may do. I'm not sure. I don't have like a set schedule for it yet, so I'm just kind of just uploading here and there. So yeah, that's going to be pretty much it at this point. But yeah, I kind of want to touch base on the easiest way to fix my credit, or your credit in this case. And I've been getting a lot of emails and stuff about getting your credit fixed. You know, people are asking me different types of questions about where to get started, things like that. So figured I'd jump on the stream, and whoever has questions about their specific scenario, you can throw it down below, or, you know, I'm just going to kind of at least break down the kind of process on how I think you should look at your credit. So you have like a blueprint you can follow. Just make it a little easier for y'all. So that's the plan. Give me a second. I want to make sure that I can, I'll make sure that you guys can hear me okay. Yeah, it looks like we're good. Cool. Yeah, man. So those of you guys who just joining, welcome. Pretty much, you know, it's really just what you see down below, man. Easiest way to fix my credit. Happy you're here. Basically, I'm just going to be kind of running through what I think that you should look at when you're trying to fix your credit. And if you have any questions or anything, throw it down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer whatever types of specific questions you got. I'm really open to taking it wherever. So it's going to be our first live stream. And in terms of the schedule, I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to be doing live streams right now. I'm just kind of, you know, giving this a try, but we'll kind of see. Maybe we'll set a schedule later on. So definitely hit the notification bell down below so you don't miss any of the live streams I do. So yeah, man, let's go ahead and jump into it. I think I got kind of this little, I think this is probably the best place to get started at. Hopefully y'all can see that on the screen there. Man, really, a lot of people always ask me about the credit score and like, how can I boost my credit score? How can I get into the 700s? One thing I did want to say first off is, you know, a lot of people, they like to look at it as like, you know, how can I get to an 850, right? And I think you don't even really need to be in the 850s, you know. My credit score, I think right now I'm probably at the, and I'm talking about FICO score. So this is a score if you're looking on like Credit Karma, it's not really giving you the same credit score that a lender might see, a bank. You know, it's just a different scoring model that's used on Credit Karma than what you might see on a website like MyFICO, right? So my score right now is like a 7. It's always between like 770 to 790, just depending on how much I'm using when it comes to credit cards. I always recommend that you try to get into the 700s. If you're not, that should be your goal. Just break the 700s. And then once you get to 750 and above, you're pretty much set. Like, you're going to be able to get any type of loans you want. You're going to be able to get pretty much anything, man. Any loans you want, you're going to get approved for, barring other stuff. Like if you're trying to get a home loan, they're obviously going to want to see like your cash flow and things like that. But I mean, you're going to be able to get approved for the best rates when it comes to that. Car loans, you're going to get the best rate. I had a car loan, and my rate was like I think it was a 1.75. So really it was like a 2%, but it got bumped down to 1.75 because it was at a credit union. So, you know, you're going to be able to qualify for pretty much everything. You're going to be able to get all the best cards. So you don't need to be in the 850s, man. You can really just get to like the 750s. That's going to be the best range that you want to be in. So right now what I want to talk about is how to even get into the 700 club, because I think that's the big thing. Is like, that's kind of where you want to set your eyes on, or your sights at, if you're anywhere below the 700s, right? So let's see. I got a little chart up here. I'm sure you guys can see that. If you can't see the little FICO score or graphic I got up, just put some in the chat. Good to see we have some people jumping in, man. So, hey, guys, just to let y'all know, just a quick rundown. I'm basically breaking down the FICO score. I want to talk about how to be able to get into the 700 club. So if you are below 700 and you're trying to get to the 700s or even better, the 750s, then I'm going to kind of break down the process I would do if I was in that same situation. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, the big thing is when you look at this FICO score, you're going to see it's broken down into like 5 categories, right? Amounts owed, payment history, credit mix, length of credit, new credit. I'll be quite frank with you. Like, I'm just going to really, if I was in a situation where I need to get my score up as fast as possible, I'm really just going to follow the 2 on the left. I'm going to look at the amounts owed and I'm going to look at the payment history, right? To me, I think that's going to be the easiest. Just by you following those 2 sections, you can get almost into the 700s. So some of you guys, y'all know like the high score you can have. Hey, how you doing? Looks like we got a comment. Hey, doing good. Appreciate you jumping on the live. Yeah, so like basically the way it works is, let me pull up my little calculator here. So the lowest score you can have on a FICO score is a 300, right? The highest you can have is an 850. So if you do the math on that, you're going to see that there's 550 points that you can actually play with. So basically these sections, you want to look at it as like they total up, each of these little percentages total up to 550 points. So let me give you an example. The amounts owed section. Amounts owed, all that really means is it has to do with credit cards, nothing else. So if you have a credit card and you have it maxed out, then you're going to lose all the percentages in that amounts owed section, right? The top left section, 30%. You're going to lose all of that 30%. And if I do the math and if I do the 550, multiply that by the 30%, that's 165 points just in that section. And I put the math in here too, so y'all can see it on here too. So amounts owed, that equals 165 points. Okay. Like literally, like from the way I like to look at it is, you know, you always want to try to pay down as much of your credit cards as possible. So especially if you're looking to go apply for something, like let's say I know that I want to apply for like a car loan and I want to do it next month. I want to, like, you got to be thinking like a month and maybe even a month and a half ahead of time, paying down your credit cards, all that stuff, you know? And what that's going to do is you're going to see your score is going to jump up dramatically because this is the easiest section to change, like hands down, like whatever. It doesn't matter what anyone else tells you. I'm telling you, they're like, if the person's not telling you that that's the easiest section to manipulate and to change, then they're giving you the wrong information. Like with the amounts owed section, you can literally imagine you can max out your credit cards tomorrow and you're going to see your credit score drop. And then the next month you immediately pay that all off. And then you got, let's say roughly the 165 points back, you know? So that's what you always want to look at. The other section I always tell people to look at is the payment history. It's a little hard to see on this graphic, but it's on the bottom left. That's worth the 35%. Okay. So we do 35 times 550. That's 192 points. Payment history equals 192.5. Yeah, so that's pretty much like, if you look at just those 2 sections, so 192.5 plus 165 plus 300, that makes it 657. Let me show you so you guys can see that right there. So basically, if you got all the points from the 2 left sections, basically 65%, you would have a 660 pretty much. So that means I'm not even talking about the sections on the right, the new credit, length of credit, and credit mix, right? Just looking at the 2 sections on the left. Now, obviously, it's going to be hard to get all the points for all those sections, but you want to just look at it that way because it makes the whole game a lot easier. Like anytime someone comes to me and asks me like, hey, Tommy, I got a problem. What can I do? The first thing I'm going to do is, hey, you got a credit card? If you don't have a credit card, you're losing 165 points right off the bat. You're losing 30% of your credit score. As soon as you get a credit card, you're going to see that your score is going to jump up if you don't have a credit card, right? And then if they tell me, yeah, I got a credit card, I'm going to ask them like, how is it? How's your balances? Are you maxed out? Like if you have a credit card of $1,000 and you're using $500, you got a $500 balance on it, that's not good. You want to bring it to like 10% or below, really as low as you can, right? But try to have it at least below 10%. Let's see here. Hey, Tamika. It looks like Tamika said, hey, Tommy, what can you do if you have late payments, but you pay all your credit to zero balances every month? So, I mean, this is a question I have for you, Tamika. Like, in terms of late payments, what do you mean by that? Like, if you, let's say, for example, you have an auto loan, right? And you only miss one late payment, then you might be able to just reach out to the lender and just tell them, like, pretty much, they call it like sending a goodwill letter, because you can send it in letter form, but you can also call them and try to talk to them about it and let them know, hey, you know, I've had this auto loan for 2 years. I haven't missed any payments. What can I do so that, like, what can I do for you guys to remove it, you know, because this is really hurting me. Tell them, you know, like, I'm looking to get a home soon. And, you know, they've told me that I can't have a lot of late payments. So I'm just wondering if there's something I can do. And usually they'll be, if you have one, maybe two, they'll be willing to get it removed. But if you're in a situation with, let's say that you had a credit card and you've had like 5 30-day lates, or, you know, you've constantly missed, then you can still try, but more than likely they're going to tell you no. Okay. What you want to do is you're going to want to try to like wash away the bad payments with good payments. And what you can do with that is, like, maybe if you have a credit card, getting another credit card, because what that does is, like, you can look at it this way. What's the easiest way to explain it? You can look at it this way. So you have an auto loan, right? And so that's every month you got to pay that auto loan. So if let's say that was the only thing you had on your credit, at the end of a year, you would have 12 payments showing up, correct? You would have 12 payments showing up. And if you missed one, you had one 30-day late, that means 11 out of your 12 payments that you did for that year were on time. And if you do the math on that, I'm not sure exactly what the math comes out to, but it's not going to be as good as if you had a credit card at the same time, but you made all your credit card payments. Because if you made all your credit card payments and you had the auto loan and you only missed one payment on your auto loan, now that comes out to, what is that? That's 23 out of 24 payments that were on time. So it just comes, if you have a lot of negative payments or late payments, you want to try to wash it off with good credit or good payment history. And you do that by maybe adding other credit cards, or making sure that you're not missing any other payments right off the bat. You want to make sure, if you're ever in a situation where you feel like you're going to miss a payment, then you want to try to reach out to the company and try to talk to them and see if you can work out an agreement. Okay. Look like Christian is saying, my client's 30, 60, 90 late payment history is 854. Should they keep this account open or close it? I mean, I'll be honest with you, Christian. It really doesn't change anything in terms of whether they close it or open it. Really, the way I would want to look at it is, can they start paying it on time? Or it might be something, for example, like people get credit cards, they use too much. No problem, Tamika. Tamika said, okay, thanks for the information. No problem, girl. So basically, the way you want to look at it is, can they start paying it on time, right? Because keeping it open or closed it's not going to change their situation currently. It's going to, if they keep it open, it's going to help their, there's a section, the length of credit history, the 15%, which is on the right side on the little graphic I got up in front of me, on this side right here. So it's like a little bit, yeah, you see it. So it'll help that if they keep it open, but you got to kind of talk to your client. This is kind of more of like a personal aspect of it. You got to tell them, like, hey, like, is this something that you're just missing? Is it like a credit card? You keep maxing it out, but it's just like, it's an impulsive thing. Then it might make sense to close it. But if it's just something where they were just in a tough situation, life happens, right? A lot of things were coming up, boom, boom, boom. Maybe you had bills, you had like unexpected medical bills, your car broke down, life happens, right? If it's a situation like that, then I would tell them, like, leave it open, but just try to, cash back up, and you want to get it back on time, right? So don't look at it too much in terms of whether to keep it open or closed based off of the late payment history, because that stuff's already on the credit. You want to do it more so in terms of, like, can you reasonably, like, get this back on time and then, like, not mess with it anymore, not have any more late payments? If that's possible, I'd keep it open. If not, then it might need to be closed. Okay. Hopefully that helps you, Christian. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm glad you guys are asking a lot of questions about that, because I think yeah, that's definitely, it gets a little tricky with the late payments and stuff. And I know no, actually people don't really, they talk about late payments, but I think the biggest thing people worry about is really the inquiries. Like, no problem, Christian. Christian said, thank you. No problem, brother. Like me, I think the thing that really gets people is the inquiries. I don't understand what it is, but like, it's like there's this thing where like people are always worried about inquiries. Now, look, I understand like inquiries in terms of like if you're in the process of applying for something, like let's say you want to get a home loan and you have like 30 inquiries from the last month, then it can be a big deal. But I mean, if you're just applying for credit, or you were in the past applying for credit, I wouldn't even worry about it, to be honest. Like I would not even focus on that anymore. Like, just, you need to focus on the two categories on the left. Yeah, on the left side, the amounts owed and the payment history. That's it. And actually, I have something else that might even help you, Christian and Tamika. This might be good for you. Let me try to pull it up here. So I got it on my phone too. I'll pull it up on there. I might be able to show. Yes, actually, like a breakdown of where is it? I have a breakdown of how each of those payments affect you, right? Basically, let me give y'all a scenario. Y'all tell me in the comments. Y'all tell me what is your feedback about Credit Strong. Now, I've heard about that company. I'll be honest with you. Like, I haven't really looked too much in it. I don't think it's necessary. Let me make sure I'm talking about the right company. What I do is, like, if I see people talking about something like a lot, like often, then I'll look into it. But then if I don't find it reliable, I don't jump too much into it. Like, Credit Strong, so you got to pay for it. Yeah, look, you pay $15 a month. So this, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but this sounds like it's just like self-lender. And if I'm not mistaken, it looks like it's just like self-lender. Honestly, I think it might be better for you to get like a secured card, because with these things, like if you really do the math on it, the fees are so high, they're usually not worth it. Okay. Now, self-lender, the benefit of that is if you already have credit cards, you can get it to help you your credit mix section. So the bottom right, the 10% credit mix category of your score. But honestly, I would just stick with secured cards, man, if I were you. Like, if you can't qualify for an unsecured card, get secured cards, and that'll be enough to hold you down. Or get like the store cards, like the My Jewelers and stuff like that. Like, you'll pay a fee up front, but like, to me, that makes more sense because it can impact more sections, right? It's going to help you with the payment history and help you with the amounts owed section. So it deals with both of them. But Tamika, if I'm understanding Credit Strong wrong, then throw something in the comments so I know. Maybe I need to like just relook over it. I just kind of pulled up a tab and look real quick. What is up, George? Look like George says, does getting both the My Jewelers and New Coast Direct lower score by hurting age, or does a utilization help outweigh their age lowering? Yeah. So okay, let me pull down the comment here real quick. Okay, so if you look at the little thing I just put up, right? Length of credit history, the credit age is 15%, right, George? And you got to look at it as like, it is going to bring down your score a little bit because it's going to lower your credit age because you just opened an account. But you don't want to be worried about opening accounts if you think about it, because like, you have more to gain than you do to lose. Like, there's a 15% for the length of your credit history, but if you look at your amounts owed section, it's 30%. Now, I've said this in a few videos. It's usually not like, most people will not need My Jewelers Club and the New Coast Direct. You got to kind of look at it in terms of your credit utilization. And now, if you guys don't know what the credit utilization is, basically how much of your credit are you using, quite literally. So it's like, if I have $1,000 credit limit on one credit card and I use $500 of that credit card, that means I have a 50% credit utilization, right? And so you kind of want to look at it in terms of like getting your credit utilization below 10%. I think 10% is you want to try to get below that. But honestly, if you can get as close to zero as possible, it's going to be the best for you. Okay. So really, like the My Jewelers Club is a $5,000 line. The New Coast is a $5,000 line, right? And so I typically recommend that you you look at how your situation is. So if you have like $10,000 in credit cards, right? Already you have like $10,000 total in terms of all your credit limits, and you're using like $5,000 of it, then you definitely will probably need both of these cards, right? It's going to add on an additional $10,000, both of these cards. It's going to bring your credit limits up to 20,000. So it's going to drop your utilization from 50 to 25%. So it's literally going to cut it in half. And you might even need some other store cards on top of that. But if you're in a situation where you only have $200 out of a 500, you have a $500 credit card and you're using $200 of it, you really just need one of those lines and you're good. You know, so that's kind of how you want to look at it. But yeah, don't worry too much about like your credit age. Okay, I think what's most important is get down your credit utilization, how much you owe, and focus on that payment history. Do not miss payments no matter what. In a situation where you think you're going to miss any payments or you're going to have late payments, I would reach out to the lender, especially if it's your first time. Reach out to the lender, let them know like, hey, I'm in a tight situation. What can we do about it? I don't want to hurt my credit, and then see if they can work with you. Hopefully that answers your question, George. What would be your first choice? Navy, Federal, secured card? I don't even have to read the rest. Navy, Federal. The reason why I say Navy Federal is because like Discover. So Navy Federal, that's a credit union. I always prefer credit union over regular banks because the way credit unions work is like, for example, I have a credit union in my area. I'm down in Texas, American Airlines, and it's almost like I own part of the bank pretty much, right? So they're gonna be a lot more open to giving me great rates. I don't know if you were here earlier, bro, but I was mentioning that I had a auto loan, which the rates at the time, the best rates you could get were 2%. My auto loan was 1.75%, right? And I got that through a credit union. You know, I had to do obviously like direct deposit or something. I think like automatic payments, stuff like that. But you know, I always recommend y'all go to a credit union, and Navy Federal is one of the top credit unions because like it's almost like they're willing to help you grow financially. Like just show them you're responsible, and you're gonna see that they're just gonna be willing to open more doors for you when it comes to credit. So hands down, it's gonna be Navy Federal. Hopefully that answers your question. Discover it secured. I think I might have mentioned that card. I got to go back to my video, but definitely, I mean, Discover does have good cards, but what I always recommend is go with that other card first. Go with the Navy Federal, and then if you don't get approved for that secured card for somehow, I think typically if you're able to get into the bank, they should approve you. But if they don't approve you, then go with the Discovery. And always make sure whenever you guys are applying for secured cards, whether it's one I've recommended or not, make sure that there's no annual fees. Back in the day, you always want to have cards with annual fees, or I mean that most of the cards had annual fees, but nowadays like there's so many that don't. That's really your first bet that you want to go to. And also make sure that it's a credit card that has a graduation rate. That's the other thing with the Navy Federal. They have a great graduation track, and what that means is you might have a Navy Federal secured card today, but you're gonna see that like. I think their thing might have been like 6 months, 8 months. I gotta check my notes. But after a couple months, let's say 6 months to 8 months, they upgrade you to an unsecured card. So it's basically like you had a secured card where let's say you put in $250, the max you can use is $250. Then they'll turn it into an unsecured card after they see that you've been making payments on time. You haven't done anything crazy with the card, and then boom, like now you have an unsecured card and you got your money back. So, yep. Oh yeah. So Cool Breeze says I got a pre-approved for the Navy Federal. Thanks, bro. Hey, yeah, hands down, bro. And I think they're really a great bank. Honestly, like just be careful with them in the sense that like try not to miss any payments. And you're gonna see like they're gonna do wonders for you, man. They're definitely there for you. George Chandler says thank you. No problem, bro. If you have any other questions, definitely you know what to do, bro. Yeah, man. So give me a second here. I'm gonna make sure everything else in my other chat is working just fine. Dope. Cool. Yeah, man. Again, guys, if this is your first time on any of my streams, be sure to like the video wherever you're looking at it, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. Like the video, subscribe, follow my page, and hit that notification bell. Right now, I don't have a set schedule. I'm just kind of streaming whenever. So make sure you hit the notification bell so you're at least notified whenever I do go live, because I'll be doing FAQs just like I'm doing here, or Q&As just like I'm doing here. Look at that. That's crazy. I appreciate that, brother. He said Navy Federal changed in July 2020. After 3 months, they will look at your account. And I'm assuming in 3 months, you're talking about in terms of like they'll upgrade you at the graduation track. And if he's saying that, that's crazy. Because I'm trying to think. I might have shot my video last month. Yeah, I didn't see that. But if that's correct, this hands down makes them like the best for secured cards. Because you're not going to find nowhere else, at least that I've heard of. And if I'm wrong, let me know. Because I'll do the research and report back to you guys. But I haven't seen anywhere that's going to let you do 3 months graduation track. That's crazy, man. So you just got to stay right for 3 months, and then you're all set. Yep. He just confirmed it. Yep. So that's definitely hands down. That's the card I would go with in y'all situation. Let's see. Yep. Definitely. For those of you guys just jumping in, throw your questions in the chat while I'm talking. I'll definitely answer them as they come up, man, for sure. Yeah, man. Let me see where else I was gonna. What other questions I had? Yeah, I think that's a big thing, right? So, like, it sounds crazy simple, but that's really all y'all want to focus on. Get your credit card debt as low as possible to zero if possible. And I know I literally shot a credit utilization video because there's a lot of people who always ask, like, should I go 30%, 50%? What should I do? Dude, straight up, just go to zero. Like, you want to get as low as possible. Like, my credit cards, I try to pay them off every month. Excuse me. It depends what I'm doing, though, obviously. Sometimes I'm in a situation where, like, you know, I use my credit cards also for like business. I do use my personal right now, my personal credit cards for business because I have pretty big lines on them. I have like the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which I downgraded. I had the I think it was the Reserve. Can't remember exactly what it was. I downgraded it a couple years back, but I just use it to pay off like anytime I'm like running, I do like e-commerce type stuff. I'm running like a business and I need to run like YouTube ads, Facebook ads, whatever. Then I run them through my credit card just to get the points. And so that's whenever my like credit score is just jumping up and down, just going crazy. But where was I going with that? Yeah, but anyways, you want to try to get it down to zero. And the reason why people sometimes say, oh, you know, like you should always leave a balance on your credit cards. That's just wrong, misinformation. You know, they're telling you to leave a balance because they want to make sure your cards don't get closed. The only time your cards are going to get closed is if you're not using them. So don't, even though I say you want a zero utilization, don't get your credit card to zero and then not do anything with it, right? Like as in like your card goes down to zero and then you like throw it away, you don't touch it anymore. You want to like use it once a month, every other month, you know, like get gas, charge it gas on it, and then immediately pay it off. And you know, you do that, you're good. So that's what I always recommend you do. Let's see what else we got. George Chandler. I'm working on building my credit up better and have done the MJC and have been more aggressive paying credit cards. What would you do next? Credit builder cards, self, or just put more credit card payoffs? So you got to tell me a little more about your situation. So like, do you have a lot of late payments, or do you have like, how's your payment history? Have you missed any payments on other stuff, or do you like, is most of your stuff paid on time? Like I know, like we all miss payments, right? But it depends kind of like how many times you miss payments, and this is kind of like you can judge it yourself. There's no like set exact amount, but you know it depends on how many times you've had a late payment and what type of late payment. So let me actually pull up this stat. That's what I was going to do earlier. It'll make a little more sense to you. So these are just kind of numbers. This is not for a mortgage. This is non-mortgage payments. So let's say like credit cards, auto loans, things like that. So if you have a 30-day late on your credit, that's shown on your credit report, it's going to take you 9 months for you to bounce back from that, from a 30-day late. Okay. If you have a 60-day late, it's going to take you 3 years to bounce back. So there's a 3-year rebound before before it stops having really any effect on your credit. And then if you have a 90-day late, that's going to take you 7 years to recover from. So just by hearing that should tell you that like, if you're in a situation where, let's say, for example, I have 2 bills I got to pay, right? One's already been 30 days late. And this other bill I've paid on time. I've never missed a payment. But this one's was literally, I didn't pay it last month. And this is going to be the second month that I didn't pay it. So I'm about to get a 60-day late. if I'm juggling two cards or two payments, I'm always going to pay the one that's about to go 60 days late, because that's going to impact me longer. So if I can stop at 60-day late, I'm going to pay instead of 30, or I'm going to pay the 60-day and let the other card go 30 days late, right? If you're ever in a situation where you're in a bind, you want to avoid going you want to avoid going further with any type of things reporting on your credit report, because you definitely don't want to impact you. And I can even, if y'all want me to go over the mortgage payments, with the mortgage payments is even worse. I'll run through them. It's not that much. But if you're 30 days late on a mortgage payment, that's 2-year rebound, compared to 30 days late on a non-mortgage payment, which is only 9 months, right? And then 60 days late is 5 years rebound on a mortgage payment. 90 days late is 7 years rebound on a mortgage payment. That just means it's going to take you 7 years to kind of recover it, where it's not really affecting your credit score. So don't miss mortgage payments if you don't have to, okay? But in terms of your question, to actually answer your question, bro, in your question, yes, it's really going to come down to that. Credit builder cards. If you're talking about more secured cards, honestly, I would try to pay off your other credit card debt first, right? And then you can turn around and start focusing on like how it is in terms of your payment history. Okay. Yeah. So I missed a few payments while transitioning from one career to another when it was a pay cut. So I guess from what you said, I just need the self and builder cards to get more. Yeah. So if you just missed a few payments, first thing you want to do is pay down your credit cards first. So the reason why I say that is because like whenever you get the self lender card or self lender account showing up on your credit, you got to pay that monthly. So it's basically like another bill, right? So you want to make sure that you're paying off your credit cards first. Pay down your credit cards, and once you're down to pretty close to zero, or at least you're not having to worry about making payments on all these different cards, then you can get other credit cards or like the self lender card, right? Or sorry, self lender secured installment loan. I know they have a credit card now. I probably wouldn't touch that credit card. You can get better credit cards elsewhere, but yeah. So that's kind of what I think. If you want, I've actually shot a video where I go deeper into the self lender and the fees and everything associated with it, just so you know what you're getting into. I think it's great because it does give you 2 years of payment history as long as you don't miss any payments. It's just the fees are a little high for me, and that's why I recommend there's other things you can do before you actually dive into that. So. Hopefully that answers your question, George. Yeah, man, that's I think that's the gist of it. One thing I also did want to talk to you guys about, I'll definitely be going deeper into just credit in general. If you guys have any questions about credit or any topics that you want me to go into, even if you're watching the replay, throw it down in the comments down below. That way I'll make that a topic for the next video I shoot. I'm thinking about just kind of deep diving into different things like, getting rid of collections, foreclosures, bankruptcies, kind of the videos I've done. But this is even better because if you're in that situation, you can kind of ask me specifically about your situation. Because I've had a lot of people who are like emailing me, or I'll see them in the comments talking about it. No problem, George. I appreciate you watching the stream. Yeah, so, there's a lot of people who have asked me about their specific situation, but you'll be able to do it kind of like what George just did here in the stream, right? Just to make it a little easier for y'all. But that's also what I'm planning on doing. And let me know if you guys would be interested in this. So, I know a lot about personal credit. I'm just now starting to dive into business credit, and this is going to be for my own business. And so if you guys are interested, I was thinking about doing kind of like a over the shoulder video series where like, as I'm getting the business credit, you guys are kind of watching it unfold. And so if you guys have a business and you want to do that, you're going to be able to do it for yourself as well. So if that's something y'all be interested in, let me know. And one twist on it is I'm trying to do it. It's going to take a little longer, but I'm trying to do it without any personal guarantee. So I want to do it without writing my social security number on any type of forms that I fill out. So if I'm getting any type of credit for my business, I won't touch my social at all. So that's going to make it a little more complex, a little harder. But let me know down in the comments if that's something that y'all think y'all be interested in. So yeah, that's pretty much, I think that's the gist of what I had. Let me see if I had any other notes or things I wanted to touch on. Yeah, I think that's going to be the most of it. If you guys have any questions, definitely throw it in the chat. I'll be happy to answer any questions y'all got. Cool Breeze says, my Capital One card reported a few days ago. All my scores went up 15 to 31 points. TransUnion went up 31. There you go. That's it. Yeah, that's good. And I think you told me earlier that you is that your first credit card? If it's not your first credit card and you already had credit card, then that's already a good jump, and it'll be even better once you lower your credit utilization if you have other cards. So that's pretty good. I think you can get a lot more. So really, it's like if you're in a situation where you got a lot of credit card debt, it means that you have he says, yeah. So if you're in a situation where you have other credit cards, or credit card debt, then it just means you have more potential to get a higher score, right? Because that might be the only thing really blocking you. It makes it more difficult when you have to deal with other stuff like medical collections, bankruptcies, repos, things like that. That's whenever it gets a little more complex. But I mean, you can still get through it, to be honest, man. It's just a little more difficult. Yeah, George says, definitely interested in that over-the-shoulder series. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about doing it. And I think it's just beneficial for y'all because, like, it's crazy. Like, most people charge y'all for that. And it's like, I'm like, literally, it's me just, like, scouring the internet, finding answers, talking to the right people. Like, I know there's, like, there's credit experts in the space who know just as much as me, if not way more than me, but with business credit. And just, like, reaching out to these guys, getting the information from them. And then I'm going to apply it myself. And if it works, boom, I'm going to let you guys know. If it doesn't work, I'm still going to let you guys know. That way you guys are seeing like how it's unfolding. So yeah, that's definitely something you'll want to stay tuned for. So good to hear, George. Yes, I think you referred to that question asked earlier. Cool. What's up, Renard? Renard said, how do you get rid of collections? Yes, so this is the process I follow. Like I have a credit repair company, but we're not taking clients right now. But with the process I always follow with someone when they first get in is like the first thing you want to do is right off the bat, you need to get your credit report, like a copy of your recent credit report. More than likely, if you know that you have collections accounts and you're not really looking at your credit like that, it might be more than likely they sent you mail to your house, right? And you get that mail and says, oh, you owe such and such amount from this company. And that's how you know about it. So what you want to do first is go to, I think it's annual credit report. Let me look it up and then I'm gonna type it up in the chat. Yeah, that's what it is. So you want to go to annual credit report. Yeah, hopefully that popped up for y'all. If it didn't, it's annualcreditreport.com. Matter of fact, let me just pull it up the screen. Oh, you guys already know what it looks like. Yeah, that's kind of small, but this is what that screen gonna look like. Okay. And y'all, this was made, like, this is by federal law that they made the site. So you're not paying nothing by using this website. And so basically it's federal law that, by law, the credit bureaus are required to give you one credit report per year from each of the credit bureaus. But right now, because of coronavirus, I'm not sure if it's going on, I'd have to check, but they're supposed to be giving you one every single week. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get your reports from all three of the credit bureaus. And this is going to let you know exactly what's on your credit report. Okay. And from there, you're going to be able to see what collections you have, who they with, so on and so forth. Next thing you want to do is you want to write a letter. Don't do it online. You want to write a letter to each of the credit bureaus asking them to verify that all the information all the negative information is correct. So if Renard's talking about he got a collection account. Let's say it was like an old Sprint bill. You got an old Sprint bill. You want to send a letter saying like, this is the account number. This is the account name that is showing up as. Just say something like, I want to verify that everything is correct on this account. And you'll be surprised. A lot of times accounts will fall off just like that because like Renard might have a collections account like from some other, from like a Sprint bill that he had like way back when. And what happens is like the Sprint has your bill, right? You don't make payments on that account. Sprint's like they're holding it on for like 6 months or 8 months, 12 months, whatever it is. They're like, you know what? He's not gonna pay this bill. Let me sell it off to a debt collector. So the debt collector buys it, right? And really, they're supposed to give the debt collector a bunch of information with it, so the debt collector can legally collect it from you. But a lot of times, information is either lost by the debt collector or he never receives it, and so he's in a situation where he really doesn't have the proof to get that money from you, right? And in that case, whenever you're like verifying, a lot of times you're going to be surprised that accounts are going to fall off because the credit bureau is going to ask the debt collector, hey, can you make sure all this information is correct? And the debt collector is going to know he can't prove it and is going to decide to remove it, right? So that's going to be the best case scenario. You're going to get it removed right off the bat. But if you're not able to get it removed yet, the next thing you want to do is you want to actually go next to the debt collector, right? If I get a letter from TransUnion and it says, yes, debt collector has confirmed that everything is verified, right? Everything is verified as accurate and 100% accurate, which is by law, everything has to be 100% accurate. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the debt collector. I'm going to send him a letter telling him he needs to validate this. Like, he confirmed that everything's accurate. I want you to validate that with me and send me all the proof you have that I owe this debt. Okay. And by you doing that, like, they have to be able to send you verified proof, whether it's like contract, they're more than likely they're going to try to send you bills and things like that. They need to have a good amount of proof that it's actually yours. And a lot of times they're not going to have that, right? And that's whenever you can kind of go back and forth with it. But really, if you follow those steps, you can reach out to me, man. You just jump in my comments after you're able to do those steps, and I'll tell you what to do, like where to go next, just depending on what kind of response you get. But that's really the biggest, man. I've seen a lot of collections accounts fall off just like that. And then worst case comes to worst, you can go straight to the government, just be like, hey, like these people, because you're going to see, especially right now with the coronavirus, like I've sent out some letters for people that they're not even getting responses. It's not making no sense. And like, excuse me, I've had to reach out to like credit bureau or there's a group called the CFPB, the FTC, or no, is it Fair Trade Commission? Yeah. So there's literally like federal organizations you can reach out to and get them to actually contact the credit bureaus or the debt collectors for you on your behalf, saying like, hey, like, why aren't you taking care of Tommy's stuff that he's been asking you? You know, by law, you're supposed to, things like that. And that'll kind of get everything set up. But I always recommend that you just follow those first two steps that I told you. And basically, you're verifying with the credit bureaus that everything's 100% correct after you pull it from the annualcreditreport.com. And then if they verify everything as accurate, then you reach out to the debt collectors and tell them that you want them to validate and show proof of that this account is really yours and that you owe it. Okay. Don't ever say, I mean, especially if you get on the phone with these guys, don't ever say nothing crazy like my debt, or if I'm on the phone, especially like whenever I was helping out like family when I first got started, be like, if we're talking about this, we always call it the debt. Okay. I never say it was my debt. I never said like, they're going to try to get you to admit it's yours. They're going to try to get you to make some sort of payments like, hey, just pay $10 today and we'll work something out. Nah, like, hey, show us proof first that this is our debt. Okay. Show us proof that the debt is ours. Things like that. So. Okay, George said, is it the same process for late payments or is it more difficult? Yeah, that's the thing. With late payments, it's more difficult. With late payments, it's going to be more difficult because it's at the creditor, right? And the creditor is going to have the proof. He's going to be keeping the files on it. It's because when things exchange hands, stuff gets lost. Like, you remember the game that we used to play when we were little, right? You guys probably remember it's telephone, right? It was like, it was a line of kids. Y'all would make a line, and then the person in the front, the teacher would tell the person in the front something. It was something like that, right? And then I think they would turn around and have to either repeat the same line, or I don't know. It was a game where basically things were getting lost in translation because something is said at the beginning, and then as it moves along the line of people, it just starts getting jarbled and information gets changed. That's kind of what's happening with whenever you have information that's at the creditor, like the original creditor, and it gets passed on from debt collector to debt collector to debt collector. Files get lost. Some of these debt collectors are sloppy. They're just trying to get their check. No problem, Bernard. No problem. debt collectors are starting to get sloppy, and they're not passing off all the files that they need to, or maybe they lost some files that deleted on accident. So they're trying to make money, like they're in a hurry, so they're just passing it off to the next guy, and that's how things get messed up. So going back to what you're saying, with late payments, it's a little harder because the original creditor, he's gonna have all the files, right? So the thing is, when it comes to disputing it, I would normally only say that it's probably best for you to first talk to them, right? Don't come at them crazy, sending a letter talking about, I didn't do this. Just talk to them, say, hey, look, this is like, hey, I'm wondering if you can help me with some of these late payments. You can even send a letter. Tell them, like, listen, I've been working hard on my credit. The only late payments I have is with you guys. I was wondering if you could help me get it removed. I'm looking to get the house, and this is kind of something that's slowing me down, hindering me. I was wondering if you could just kind of try to humanize with them, right? You can send in a letter. Try to Google search, like, if you Google search, you'll find information on where to send the letter to in terms of whoever your creditor is, and that might work. And then you can get more aggressive as time goes, like as you try the other steps first, but don't just right off the bat come off like, what I'm saying, like just come off real aggressive right off the jump, because then that doesn't. Just imagine if you were in another situation, like you've had friends before that come up to you and they come up to you too aggressive, and you get angry, right? Then you're already in a bad mood. They could ask you for anything that normally you would do. You're not going to do it. So just kind of think about that, kind of humanize it a little bit. Send like a letter, be nice about it. And then later on, maybe you can say, like, send me proof, so on and so forth. But to be quite honest with you, most of the time they're going to have the proof, George, to be honest. So really, that's why I say with late payments, it's just washing away like bad payment history, like late payments, things like that, washing it off by adding a bunch of good payment history. So if you have credit cards showing good payments, if you have a bunch of stuff reporting every single month showing good payments, it doesn't matter if you have one 30-day late or one 60-day late or even a couple 30 days late, because they just get washed away because you have such good payment history with your other stuff. See? So, Coolby says, I only have 3 negative reports on my credit, all medical. I've seen, just from my experience, medical is one to be falling off pretty easily. So I definitely say try to do what I was talking about earlier, where you're just verifying with the credit bureaus on those medical collection or those negative reports, and then just see what happens from there. And then you can kind of follow. Then you follow kind of like the regular collection accounts. There was some stuff with like HIPAA violations where you can get them if they actually violate it. But I mean, that's starting to get a little tougher. So it just kind of depends, man. But definitely, doesn't matter what you have on your credit, you want to still follow the first step. Like any collections account, you want to first verify with the credit bureaus, and then you shift over to the debt collector. So that's the gist of it. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, that's just now kind of going back to this. Did any of you guys have questions about like the whole FICO score and how that works or anything like that? You did, definitely throw it down in the comments below. Let's see. Yeah, man, honestly, that was a big thing. We already did 50 minutes. I thought it was going to be, I didn't think we were going to go this long. Yeah, I mean, that's really just it, man. I'll include it in the description as well, but just kind of seeing in terms of like where I'm trying to take the channel is like, I want to make it more like still shooting the same videos I'm doing. Another thing I was thinking about doing, and y'all can kind of let me know if y'all think it's a good idea or not, is like for people who, because normally like I have a credit repair company, so I don't really like, I typically don't help people for free because it's just, I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't have enough time, but I'm trying to find ways where I can help people in mass. And so one of the things I was thinking too was like, I might maybe do something where you can kind of submit, like let's say you have because you guys are gonna have questions, right? You guys are gonna have certain questions. And what I can do instead is I could try to, like, let's say you have something that's shown on your credit report. You send me that information, right? And I remove all your personal information. I just take the actual like collections account. And I say like, hey, if you guys have this collection account, and I literally teach you guys like what I would do if I had that collection account. And then that way it's like, it'll be just like another over the shoulder where you guys are seeing how I would handle every type of collection account. And it kind of lets you guys know what route you should take, because you're going to start realizing, especially because I've been doing this for a while, people tend to be in similar situations. Like we all got medical, not all of us, but a lot of us have medical collection accounts. A lot of us have maybe a repo. Like there's been a time whenever we had trouble paying off a car or something. I shot a video earlier about how, like, you know, car dealers kind of set you up, especially if you don't have good credit, set you up to where you basically, your car's going to get repoed unless like you have a really high paying job or something, you have a lot of money coming in. But just things like that. So if that's something that might be interested to y'all, definitely let me know as well. Where can you have a template for late payments or collections account? Go check one of my videos. It should be called something like debt collector. Just go to my videos and search, try to search like debt collector. And I think one of the videos has a link where you can get a template. I don't know it offhand, but try to look on it. If you don't see it, shoot me an email or just jump in my comments on one of my videos, and then I'll try to track the link down for you. But yeah, just try to do that. George says, what's the FICO 10T? Honestly, I'm going to be frank with you guys. Like, I know a lot of these FICO things come out, and like, unless you guys keep asking me about it, I really don't look too much into it. The reason being is like, George, even though there's like a lot of stuff coming out, like, you know, FICO 10T, and then like there's a new like Experian Boost, this, that, and the other. You guys got to keep in mind, like, the people who really matter at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if FICO made a new scoring model today, right? And they launched it today. What really matters is what the lenders are using. They're the ones who make the final decision, right? And a lot of the lenders are using the FICO 8, if I'm not mistaken. So they're not even caught up to that, right? So that's why I typically recommend to people, like, don't worry too much about that. Unless if all the lenders started shifting over and we're like, oh, now we're using FICO 9 or FICO whatever, like some new FICO scoring model, or they even said something crazy and we're like, we're going to Vantage Score, which is a whole different scoring model, then I would definitely shoot a video, let you guys know, and kind of talk more about it. But that's kind of what I've been following, is just based off of what I've seen the lenders are actually using. Because as long as we're looking at the same thing the lenders are, it don't matter what other scores are out there, because you want to make sure that you're seeing your score is the exact score that lenders are seeing, so you know where you are, like a true idea of where you are. Because y'all might notice, like, sometimes you pull like your FICO score, and it's way different from your Vantage score, which you can see at like Credit Karma and stuff, right? So that could kind of throw you there. What's up, Jose? Jose from San Antonio. I went to school in San Antonio, so it's good to see you on the chat, brother. Appreciate you coming on the stream. Thanks, bro. Gotta run, catch you on your next live. Appreciate you, Cool Breeze. How can you build a thin credit file? I mean, Tamika, pretty much all you got to do is you just kind of, I don't want to say like add stuff to it, like you should go out and just go on like a credit shopping spree, but just figure out where your score is and where you're trying to get to, and just figure out what you got to do to get there. So I would say, you know, first off, you got to get a credit card if you don't have one. Excuse me, maybe if you have an auto loan, that'll count as your credit file, but you don't need a lot of stuff. Like me, I had student loans that probably made my file a lot thicker, but I think it's really just that, like, you maybe adding on like credit cards, and then if you have an auto loan, adding on an auto loan. I don't think I would go further than that, unless like if you were still having issues, then you can get something like the self-lender, some sort of installment loan, like self-lender, things like that. And I think that should really be good. I think the things that are going to hold you back the most is going to be the payment history and amounts owed section, right? So missing payments and maxing out credit cards, that's going to be your biggest issue. So as long as you can take care of those two, man, you're going to be good to go. Hopefully that answered your question, Tamika. George Shannon, that's a good idea for a video series. I think you were talking about the one where I said people send me information, and then like, yeah, definitely. That's what I'm thinking too. Cause like, I don't want to keep shooting like how-to videos, because, you know, things can change anytime. And then the thing is, like, it becomes an issue where I shot a video like 6 months, a year ago. It's kind of outdated and people are still watching it, because YouTube's going to keep pushing it if they see people are watching it. And so I'd rather do like more over the shoulder stuff, where if I keep doing it, then you're always going to have fresh information coming out, things like that. And it just makes it easy for me to make the video too, like as opposed to me just talking about like a generic situation. And then I end up getting a lot of questions because people are like, wait, does it apply for me because I got 2 collections accounts, not 1? Things like that. It just makes it a lot easier for me if I have an actual scenario I can talk to you guys about, and they kind of go off of that. No problem, Tamika. Appreciate you being on the stream. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, let me see. I wonder if I had some other points. Completely forgot I was. Yeah, so really that was it, right? How to calculate my credit score. That was really the gist of it. I didn't really find too much else in terms of that, but that was the gist of it. If I have any other questions, let me know. At this point, I think that's really all I wanted to touch on. So just kind of getting good information in terms of like where I should take the direction of the channel. And yeah, that's it, man. I appreciate you guys taking the time to actually watch the stream. Make sure you hit the like. You know, that's really the only way I look at in terms of supporting the channel. It's not like monetary, you giving me money, man. Just subscribe, you know, like the videos, and then share it with people who you know are in those situations. The big thing for me is like the reason why I like doing these videos is like it's not like me sitting in a room with one person and talking to them, and then they might never share that information. I'm sitting and I can share. Like I'm watching a ton of people at once, right? Or a ton of people are watching me at once talk about this information, and they can share that to somebody else. So even if you literally what's coming out of my mouth, if you have to just take that information, you don't even need to give me credit, man. Take that information and share it with somebody else who you know is in that same situation. That's all I ask for. So with that, we can help a lot of people. No problem, George. I appreciate you watching the stream. He said, thanks for all the help logging off. We'll definitely be at the next live. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, man, that's a big thing for me, guys. Like, just share this information with somebody else. Even if it's information where I'm talking about something, you're like, damn, so I don't know. Like Tommy said it, and I don't know how to repeat it, or I don't know exactly how to explain it to the person. Send them my video. And then, like, if they got questions, they can jump in the comments too. So, me, the big thing is, like, we can reach a lot of people doing this. And there's a lot of people, you would be surprised how many people have credit issues. It doesn't have to do with how much money you have. It doesn't have to do with nothing. It's just like the statistic, at least, I don't know if it's outdated now, but literally, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, the statistic was 80% of people who have credit or credit reports, basically 80% of Americans have incorrect items on their credit report, right? So that should right off the bat let you know, man. So if you ever have, that's why if you know anyone who has issues, or you think that you're the only one with issues on your credit report, it's not true. There's tons of people who got issues. So yeah, man, honestly, that's pretty much it. If you got any other questions, I'll be willing to take some questions before I bounce off. It looks like we're about to get to the hour mark. But yeah, if you got any other questions, definitely throw it down below. And then let me know what things you guys might want me to talk about next time. I've kind of mentioned a few things that I'm thinking about talking about, but if y'all have any other ideas, let me know. And also another thing actually I was thinking about that y'all can kind of let me on is really this channel, I don't want it to just be about credit, because I think credit is one aspect of your financial health. I wanted to talk about like budgeting, and then eventually go into investing. So I've kind of mentioned it in a few videos, but my past is I was actually a investment, or what am I trying to say? I was a stockbroker. So I worked with investments. I was working at a brokerage firm. So I got to talk with people who they had millions of dollars in their account, and I got to talk with them and see how they got to that point. And I got to talk with people who were 80 years old and only had $20,000 left. And they were telling me, hey, like, don't do what I did. Here's where I made mistakes, right? So I want to eventually be able to kind of shoot videos for you guys that's teaching you guys, like, not just the credit, like we hit the credit, right? And then we hit the personal finance, more so budgeting, like how to actually budget. And then I want to get into investing, because there's a lot of investment advice out there that, like, it's really like niche, right? You're going to see some, like, I know y'all seen the ads. Yeah, Tamika says that would be great. I know you guys are seeing the, if you're on YouTube, look like some of you guys watching me on YouTube, I know y'all see the ads where dudes talking about, hey, I'm going to show you how to stock trade, this, that, and the other. I don't do stock trading, just to let you guys know. I shot an investing video, but I really focus on index investing. And I talk about a specific way in terms of how to grow your wealth. Because let's be frank, like, I know a lot of you guys, y'all hear about the stock investing, but I worked in a brokerage firm. So I got to see hundreds, if not thousands of accounts, right? So I saw that most people don't make money. They might say they make money, but they don't. So your homie down the street that told you should get into this new investment, this stock market investment he was talking about, he probably not showing you his full account, because normally what happens is you might get one good trade, two good trades, whatever, but eventually in the long run, you're not going to perform well. There's easier ways to go to perform well in the market, and they're a lot more passive. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking. So that's the direction I'm going. So you guys kind of have an idea. Y'all let me know. I'm open to I just want to answer y'all questions when it comes to finance, because this is something that I think, I mean, I didn't get taught it. I mean, I'm in the US. I didn't get taught that stuff. I went to college, finance major. I don't think we touched on personal finance, at least the classes I paid attention at. So, you know, just let me know, man. Definitely something I'd want to share. Looks like we have someone else here. What's up, Everett? Jules Singleton. Pleasure. I'm glad you came to the stream. Yeah, I mean, like that's really the gist of it, man. So I'll probably be doing a few more streams, talking more. Right now, this is kind of like the more basic beginning. So a lot of you guys, maybe you're watching this and you already understand this stuff, you know it, whatever. But I want to eventually get you to a point where you can get to that next level, because it's nowadays. It's funny because I was talking to a cousin about this, and she was telling me, she's like, because we were just talking, she does some stock investing. She was telling me, she's like, you should tell people this information, because like it's complex. A lot of people don't know where to go. Some of you guys, like she was even telling me, she's like, at one point she was paying somebody, I think it was like $100, $200 a month to for them to give her stock trades. And I was just like, that's crazy. Like there's literally, the information is out there, but it's like, it's hidden. It's like the people who know that information, they're trying to share it, but they don't really know how, or they're sharing it in places where the average person is not going to look, right? And you guys, like, I come for information on YouTube just like you, right? On YouTube, that's most of the videos I'm looking at is like, if it's not entertainment, I'm looking up, educational videos to learn how to do something. So that's kind of what I want to share. I know a lot on YouTube. You're going to see stuff about trade stocks, buy Tesla, buy. People were talking about buying Tesla for a good 2-3 months. And I don't know if y'all keep up with the stock market, you saw what happened, right? So it's like, playing it safe, because you don't want to get caught in a situation where, you get into something and like it's tanking, and then you losing half your money. Trust me, I've seen it. I was actually in the stock market back whenever it was, I don't know if you guys know about Snapchat. I don't know if I'm sure it's still around. I don't know how it's doing, but I was back in the day when it was Snapchat doing their IPO. So they were just getting into the stock market. And I saw some like grandmas losing their money because their kid told them that how good of an app Snapchat was. And then, Snapchat just started, it literally came to the stock market. I don't even know if it did good for a day or two. It just started like dropping. It has dropped since. So yeah, there's just something to keep in mind. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it for the stream, guys. I appreciate you guys staying around with me. Be sure to like this video wherever you're watching it. It would be greatly appreciated. That's how you can support the channel and just help me to keep getting these videos out to more and more people. And definitely in the comments, even after this video is done, let me know what other topics you'd like me to go into. And that's going to be the gist for today, man. I'll wait for maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds for any other questions. If you got questions about anything, whether it's credit related, personal finance, stocks, whatever, don't ask me for my stock picks, please. But yeah, like just let me know whatever questions you have, and I'm willing to answer it before we bounce off the stream. And while you guys give me 1 second, I'm gonna also cool. Yeah, I mean, so that's gonna be pretty much it, guys. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me. Yeah, definitely supporting the channel. Just by you watching the videos, you're supporting me. Has nothing to do with the monetary. It's more so just watching the videos, throwing a like on there. Whether you're on my Facebook, in my Facebook group, you like my Facebook page, or you're on YouTube and you're subscribed to my channel, liking the videos, all that stuff, supporting. So I appreciate it. But that's going to be pretty much it for the stream. I appreciate you guys supporting me for the first one. I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be yet going forward. So that's why I'll tell you guys, hit that notification bell. so you don't miss any of my streams, because I'm gonna be the plan I have is, I'm gonna try to fit this in wherever I have free space in my schedule. So like, for example, today is on Friday, maybe I'll do it on Tuesday next time, or Thursday, who knows. So if you hit the notification bell, you'll know when to come on or when to watch my next one, and I'll be able to answer your questions. So I pretty much answered all the questions live. So if that's something that you're interested in, you have questions that you want answered, then be sure you catch the stream so you're able to ask those questions, especially if it's a topic that I'm talking about that might be complex. I'm always willing to break it down. I just got to know. This is great because it's like instant feedback, right? If I'm shooting a YouTube video, you guys have to jump in the comments afterwards if you guys don't understand it. Here, I can literally stop what I'm talking about and then try to explain it just to kind of get you through that mental roadblock, and then we can keep hopping back on the subject. So, yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it, guys. I appreciate you catching the stream and taking the time to watch. Definitely stay tuned for the next one, man. You guys have a good night and enjoy your weekend, and I will see you guys next week. All right, guys.